In the earliest days of the world, when the skies were still raw and the earth had not yet settled into its final shape, a storm unlike any other raged across the heavens. The gods of creation had poured their power into shaping mountains, oceans, and forests, but one fragment of their fiery essence fell into the abyss between worlds. There, in the void of shadows and flame, something stirred, a creature that was not entirely of the gods, nor entirely of the earth. That creature was the first dragon. Born of lightning, fire, and chaos, the first dragon did not belong to the world of mortals. Its scales shimmered like molten gold, its wings stretched wider than storm clouds, and its roar shattered mountains. Where it flew, rivers changed course, forests burned, and stars trembled in their places. Yet for all its might, it was alone, a godless child, without purpose. Legends say the dragon wandered for centuries across the newborn world. It carved caverns with its claws, raised volcanoes with its breath, and left trails of obsidian where its wings touched the ground. From its blood, spilled upon jagged stone, strange creatures emerged, lesser dragons of many shapes and colors. Some were serpentine and wise, dwelling in seas. Others grew wings like bats and claimed the skies. And still more crawled upon the earth, guarding treasures of crystal and fire. Mortals, who had just begun to build their villages and carve their destinies, feared these creatures. To them, dragons were living storms, terrible omens sent to test mankind's courage. Yet among the mortals arose a few who saw something more, keepers of power, guardians of secrets that could grant humanity strength beyond measure. These mortals began to worship the dragons, offering them jewels, fire, and blood. But worship could not tame the first dragon. It remained wild, untouchable, and unyielding. The gods themselves, angered by the havoc it brought upon their creation, sought to bind it. They forged chains from starlight, summoned winds strong enough to tear oceans apart, and sent their champions to strike it down. But every attempt failed. The dragon's fury burned brighter than divine wrath itself. In time, a prophecy was spoken by the oracle of the deep. The first dragon cannot be slain. It is the breath of creation, the fire that endures. Only when shadow and flame are joined by mortal will shall the dragon's purpose be revealed. This prophecy marked the beginning of an age of struggle. Mortals sought to understand the dragon, gods sought to control it, and lesser dragons spread across the world like wildfire. Empires rose and fell upon their scales. And at the heart of it all, the first dragon waited, for the mortal who would dare claim its destiny. The prophecy of the first dragon spread like wildfire across the lands. Kingdoms rose, scholars debated, and warriors sharpened their blades, each dreaming they might be the one to fulfill the oracle's words. Yet the dragon remained untamed, watching from its volcanic throne where mountains met the clouds. Centuries passed, and mortals began to craft legends of their own. Among them were the dragon-born kings, rulers who claimed descent from the blood of the first dragon itself. They wore crowns shaped like flame and built cities at the edges of dragon lairs, daring to live beneath the shadow of fire. Their power was unmatched, for lesser dragons flocked to their banners, whether through fear, blood oath, or strange kinship. But power breeds envy. Rival kingdoms allied with the gods, believing no mortal should wield the strength of dragons. War followed, a war so vast that bards later called it the Burning Century. Dragons darkened the skies, scorching armies by the thousands. Seas boiled as serpent dragons crushed fleets. On battlefields, mortal soldiers raised spears tipped with divine steel, weapons forged in temples blessed by the gods themselves. The earth shook for 100 years as dragon fire and divine wrath collided. Yet still, the first dragon did not choose. It watched, unyielding, as mortals bled and empires crumbled. Some whispered that the dragon cared nothing for mortals, others believed it was waiting for the heart strong enough to unite fire and shadow. The Shadow Prince. In the midst of war, a boy was born in a ruined village consumed by dragon fire. His name was Kalen, and his life was forged in darkness. Orphaned, scarred, and cast aside, he learned to survive by wit and fury. The villagers whispered he was cursed, for wherever he walked, shadows thickened and whispers followed. Kalen's destiny changed when he stumbled upon an ancient cavern, deep beneath the blackened mountains. There, he found the remnants of the first flame, a shard of burning crystal said to have fallen from the dragon's birth. Touching it, Kalen felt fire sear through his veins, but instead of killing him, it fused with his shadow. He became something neither wholly mortal nor divine. The oracle's words rang once more in the ears of priests. Shadow and flame, bound by mortal will. Kalen was the first to embody those words. Yet his heart was torn. Would he use his gift to end the wars and bring peace, or claim the dragon's power and reign as Emperor of Fire? The betrayal of the gods. The gods, fearing what Kalen represented, sought to destroy him before his strength could grow. They sent their chosen, a host of angelic warriors armed with celestial spears, to hunt him down. Villages that sheltered him were burned, temples desecrated, and rivers poisoned by divine wrath. But Kalen did not die. Shadows shielded him, flames obeyed him, and whispers of dragons echoed in his dreams. Some lesser dragons began to kneel before him, recognizing in him the same essence as their ancient progenitor. The dragonborn kings saw him as both threat and hope. Some offered alliance, while others plotted his death. Mortals and gods alike realized that Kalen might be the mortal destined to awaken the first dragon. And so, as the burning century neared its climax, the fate of the world converged upon one choice. Would Kalen confront the first dragon to tame it, or would he become the monster the gods feared? The Awakening. On the night of the red eclipse, when the sky burned like blood, Kalen climbed the volcanic throne of the first dragon. The mountain trembled as he approached, the air thick with heat and ash. And there it was, the dragon, vast and terrible, eyes like twin suns, scales glowing with molten light. Its roar shook the stars. Yet Kalen did not kneel. He raised the shard of the first flame, his shadow blazing with fire, and declared, "I am not your worshipper. I am not your enemy. I am the will you have awaited." For the first time in all the ages of the world, the first dragon lowered its head, not in submission, but in recognition. Its golden eye fixed upon him, and in that moment, flame and shadow merged. The mountain erupted, rivers of fire carving across the land, as the prophecy began to unfold. But the gods would not allow this union to stand. Their wrath descended in the form of storms, lightning, and celestial fire. The final war was about to begin. The world trembled as Kalen stood before the first dragon, shadow and flame entwined within his mortal body. For centuries, the creature had been untouchable, an eternal storm-given flesh. Yet now, at last, it had chosen not through words, not through chains, but through recognition. But recognition came at a cost. The gods descended in fury. Their armies of celestial fire lit the skies, and their thunder shook the oceans. They called Kalen a usurper, a thief of divine power, and swore that no mortal should command what even they could not. The first dragon rose in defiance, wings blotting out the stars. When it roared, the world split, volcanoes erupted, seas boiled, and forests burned to ash. Gods and dragon clashed in the heavens, their battle painting the night with fire and lightning. The last war. Mortals, too, were drawn into the storm. The dragonborn kings rallied their armies, some to fight alongside Kalen, others to curry favor with the gods. Across burning fields, soldiers screamed the names of gods, dragons, and destiny alike. Kalen became the flame at the center of it all. His shadow stretched across battlefields like a living storm, while his fire consumed divine spears. Wherever he walked, the prophecy whispered louder. Shadow and flame, bound by mortal will. Yet his heart wavered. Each battle demanded more of him. Each victory left more corpses behind. Was he truly saving mankind, or merely replacing one tyrant with another? The gods accused him of ambition. The mortals hailed him as savior. Even the dragon watched in silence, offering neither command nor comfort. The trial of choice. At the height of war, Kalen reached the Celestial Spire, a tower built by the gods to anchor their dominion over the mortal world. There, the Oracle of the Deep appeared once more, her voice echoing across realms. "Kalen," she said, "the prophecy does not promise power. It promises revelation. You are the bridge, but the path is yours to choose. Will you wield the dragon as a weapon, or free the fire that birthed creation itself?" The words struck like thunder. Kalen realized that taming the first dragon would not bring balance. It would only bind chaos into another chain, another throne. But releasing it fully, that might unmake the world. Betrayal and sacrifice. As Kalen hesitated, betrayal struck. One of the dragonborn kings, pretending to be his ally, plunged a divine blade into Kalen's back. The god seized the moment, chaining his wounded body in starlight. Shadows screamed, flames flickered, and the dragon itself was forced to its knees beneath celestial fire. But in that instant, Kalen chose. With his dying breath, he did not call for power. He released it. The shard of the first flame shattered, its fire spreading into every corner of the world. The dragon roared, not in rage but in freedom. The chains of the gods dissolved, the celestial spire crumbled, and Kalen's mortal body vanished in the blaze. The revelation. The first dragon soared into the heavens, no longer bound to throne, mountain, or prophecy. Its body dissolved into countless sparks that trained upon the earth. Each spark became fire in a hearth, courage in a warrior's heart, the warmth of a sunlit morning, or the fury of a storm. The truth was clear. The dragon was never meant to be ruled, nor worshipped. It was the living breath of creation itself, scattered now across every shadow and every flame. Kalen did not die. His name lived on as the child of shadow and flame, remembered as neither king nor conqueror but as the mortal who chose freedom over dominion. Epilogue: The Legacy of Fire. Centuries later, bards still sing of the first dragon. Some say it sleeps in the heart of the sun. Others believe it lingers in every fire that burns in the mortal world. And in the whispers of shadows, children sometimes hear Kalen's voice, urging them to choose not chains, but freedom. The gods retreated after their defeat, their temples abandoned, their thrones cracked. Mortals rebuilt from the ashes, carrying within them fragments of the dragon's fire. Thus the prophecy was fulfilled, not by conquest, not by divine wrath, but by mortal choice. And so the legend endures. The dragon cannot be slain. The dragon cannot be tamed. The dragon is within us all.